Hi, it's Ralph Henderson with Supply Chain Today. Have you ever asked yourself, why don't we ever make any money from this trade show? Or have you ever wondered, why doesn't sales get any business from what marketing is doing? Good news. I have today Pam Didner, a professional business to business consultant and marketer who's going to help you to understand the answer to those questions. And more importantly, even give you some real applicable information that you'll be able to apply and start to do something about both of them. Because really, we want to generate revenue, create profit, and grow the supply chain space like never before as we roll out of this last season into the next season. Get ready and welcome to Supply Chain Today with Ralph Henderson. Welcome to Supply Chain Today with Ralph Henderson. Today, I am joined by Pam Didner. Pam is a business-to-business marketing expert, author, podcaster, and international speaker. She's also the president of the Portland-based consulting firm Relentless Pursuit. She trains, coaches, and provides strategic guidance for sales and account-based marketing and does a great job in bringing that together to develop business. Pam, welcome to Supply Chain Today.
Thank you so much for having me. Yay! That introduction was completely overrated, but you know what? Much appreciated.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. Hey, the way you and I met is I saw you facilitating a session for the MHI Association's MPro or Marketing Professionals Product Group, and I was just fascinated by a topic that you were talking about, and that is bringing sales and marketing together specifically or primarily for the trade show that MHI produces, but I think in general. And so maybe tell the audience a little bit about what you talked about and how you brought all that together.
Oh yeah, I would love to do that. That's my favorite topic. When you get me started, you know what? I can't shut up. I just can't. MHI was wonderful and invited me to do a webinar for their Q1. And so I kick off their 2021 webinar series. And the key topic I was talking about is really how to align sales and marketing. And I know that's a century-old topic, and every company is trying to crack that nut. Actually, in the past probably 20-some years, especially when the marketing becomes important. But it's actually very hard. That's because sales and marketing, they all come from a different mindset. So in that webinar, I talk about several things that marketers can do to further understand their salespeople and provide some ideas in terms of what they can do to better support their sales. So there are a couple of things I mentioned, 2 or 3 things, just be very brief about it. Number one is what marketers can do to better understand their salespeople. And on the marketing side, if you are marketers, you know that you might have a buyer's persona or you have a specific target audience you want to go after. So you actually personify that specific person, right? Like, hey, you know what? I talked to even marketing manager. I'm going to create a persona, Ralph. All right. Ralph like this. Ralph does this. So that gives me ideas in terms of the type of content I should create or the channels I should go after to reach out to him. Why don't we create sales persona, right? To show how much you understand salespeople, why don't you create a persona, write a 500-word essay, right? And have every single marketing person doing that. And then you can compare notes. All of a sudden, you're like, oh, that's not what I think about our salespeople. You know what? Do they do cold call? Really? I didn't know that. So you compare notes and you create a persona for your salespeople and use that as a conversation opener to have a conversation with sales. This is how we understand you. This is how I think I need to support you. What do you think? Salespeople will always go, no, that's not me.
That's great.
So that's one way to understand them, create sales persona. Another thing is, salespeople usually need content, especially in manufacturing segments. Everybody's selling very complex or complicated products. It requires the salespeople to explain it to their prospects. Content is a big deal, right? So they use content as a conversational opener as well. Therefore, it's important to actually sort and select the content on the marketing side to actually share that with the salespeople. Don't just give them a marketing content, expect them to know how to use it, right? Can you map that into their sales stages so they can see? And at the end of the day, what I have shared with the whole, during that webinar with the marketeers is you need to kind of connect different dots. And that's actually very important. Way back 20 some years ago in the traditional marketing, the people who do print, they do print. The people who did radio buy is a radio buy. And the people do design, they do design. They don't usually talk to each other. Does that make sense?
It does make
Digital
sense.
has changed that dramatically, right? So, Ralph, if you and I, we met at the event and we exchanged the business card, we have great ideas. Why I passed your business card to my salespeople. Guess what? He's going to follow up with an email, right? And that's a digital component.
Right.
And Ralph, if that email was intriguing, it got you excited, you're going to check out the website. And if you check on the website, you will look into a couple things on the website and a couple content you are interested. And I'm going to stalk you, right?
Yeah.
I will be behind the scenes. Look at the website. I was like, oh, Ralph is coming. Excellent, excellent. These are the couple things to download. For some reason, you decided to actually subscribe to our email list. All of a sudden, that is the starting point of digital marketing. I got your email. I can nurture you. I can reach out to you. I can invite you. I can even actually send you an email post-event. So if you see all the communication I talk about, they are all connected. So it's not like even marketing does event. Email marketing does email marketing. You know what? The salespeople will just decide to follow up with you when they decided to have time to follow up with you. They are somehow all connected.
So what you're talking about is easy to understand, or at least it has been so far in these few minutes. What do you think the challenge has been for us to bring those things together, especially in the supply chain space, to create this continuity, if you will, between these areas?
I think there are many issues depending on the companies, right? And I think every company, they have a different issues they deal with. But at a service level, at a much higher level, there are a couple of things. First one is the senior manager needs to take the initiative. Like try to connect the dots. Sales and marketing need to talk to each other. Well, CEO have to say, guys, talk to each other, right? The initiative has to come from the top. That's number one. Second thing is process. You need to actually have a process that's been set up for them to talk to each other, the collaboration part of it, right? And the third is, can you set up some sort of service level agreement? Now you actually have a process. What are the things we need to accomplish together? Can we have some sort of joint initiatives? And on any kind of definition that there's a confusion, for example, marketing qualified leads, can we actually settle and finalize, have a clear definition so there's no confusion between the two?
Right. So we're gonna head to break right now, but
Okay.
let's think about this when we come out of the break. Everybody wants to make money. Everybody wants to generate revenue and create profit. I think what we're talking about is something that can get us there. And what I want to do is I want to talk to everybody after the break on how we accomplish that. Fair?
Sounds great.
All right. We will be right back. This is Supply Chain Today with Ralph Henderson.
Is it worth 20 minutes of your time to truly understand how trade shows and webinars fit with your business development? Follow this link and Ralph will get you a long way down the road and show you that your next webinar or trade show can be profitable rather than just a questionable expense.
Welcome back to Supply Chain Today with Ralph Henderson. I am joined today by Pam Didner. Pam is a remarkable business-to-business marketing and sales consultant and advocate. She helps people connect those areas in addition to the executives. We're going to talk now about making money, whether it's from trade shows, conferences, or sales and marketing campaigns. Everybody wants to make money, Pam. How do we get started and how do we make this something that's tangible and applicable?
That's a very good point. Why don't we start with the sales team? Sales team or sales reps carry the revenue pressures on their shoulders, especially in the manufacturing and supply chain area. I mean, literally front and center. So the first things that marketer teams need to do is, what can we do to better support our sales team, right? So if they have a specific account they want to go after, great. Let's find out who those accounts are. That's actually understand their game plans and see what we can do to help them to close the deals. If there's a cross sales and upsales, there got to be certain things that the salespeople also need. They might have a meetings they want to go after, and to actually have that conversation, what are some of the content that we can actually do to help them? You know, that part of it, what I'm talking about is there's a term for it, but the marketing in the manufacturing segment has been doing for a long time. It's called account specific type of marketing. Now they call it ABM, account-based marketing.
Right.
I understand it's very hard to scale that. You know, like marketing will be like, you know what? We only have 3 people. All right, we have a 100 account. This is not sustainable. I agree. So focus on definitely top 25 or top, 50. I understand that. But there got to be certain things you can scale. Even marketing, when you do any kind of events, when you go there and you gather a lot of prospects and leads, right? Set up automations in terms of how you want to follow up. The way to scale on the marketing side, it has to be automation. There got to be certain things that you need to automate. There's a certain thing you can automate. I get it, right? Like our conversation right now, it probably cannot be automated.
Right.
But there is certain things you can definitely automate, and then focus on the key priority, and then have a conversation with the sales team and align with them their overall sales plans.
Right. So I love what you're saying. And maybe what we can do to kind of button this all up is the juxtaposition between the marketing wanting to heat the ocean and
True.
Sales and executive wanting to catch a fish. And look, they're both correct. They both need to do that, but maybe help us with the juxtaposition between our brand and our message getting out to the entire market, but then our sales being able to find that fish that we're going to be very profitable with and bring those two things together.
Yes, you hit the core. And that's also a dilemma that marketing teams encounter on a regular basis. And if you are listening to this, I just want to let you know you are not alone. And a lot of marketing, they are struggling to find that balance between, should they focus on top of the funnel, which is broader, brain awareness, demand gen type of activity, or should they focus on their effort, really help the sales to close the deal, and which is account specific? I don't have an answer for you. It really depends on your company, depends on your objectives, right? So what is the management, also the business objective? Are you really you are very, if your company are very much all set and established, and you have a lot of accounts that you deal with, maybe your job is really focused on working with the sales and closing your accounts. But if you are new and you have to build a brand awareness, maybe the brand awareness should be your objectives. So,
what do you think about the counterintuitiveness of the narrow niche, wide market? In other words, what I'm saying here is a lot of companies that we know in the consumer world have had this very narrow niche mentality. And because of that, they've become very popular because they become famous for that niche. So there's this counterintuitiveness of going after the narrow niche because we get afraid that we're going to somehow miss out on the things outside of the niche. But isn't the reality, if we become really famous in that narrow niche, the outside starts to see us as somebody who is really good at whatever that is?
That's actually a good point. Can I also bring executive into this discussion about that?
Sure, of course.
In general, marketers will be very happy to be in that position, that they are well-known in a niche, not necessarily well-known in a broad market.
Right.
But how many manufacturing executives you have deal with, they are so good at a niche, but they are asking their marketing executive to build a brand awareness on the top.
That's
that's management driven.
To me, that's the reason this conversation is important, is because we understand that when we are designing, developing, and producing our own products and services. But when it comes to how we want to go to market, we sometimes get a little nervous about being very narrow.
Very niche.
Yes.
No, I totally agree.
That.
But
I love that.
There's many times I have a conversation with manufacturing executives. They was like, we want our marketing to actually build our brand name. But I was like, do we need to do that?
Right.
But they are in totally different space. It's very hard to convince them. Does that make sense? So then we have to do what they ask us to do.
Yeah, no, it makes complete
sense.
So
that's a dilemma that the marketers had to deal with, unfortunately, in the manufacturing space. Well, actually, in many
in many spaces
as well. Yeah.
Hey, before I let you go, how do we get a hold of you? How does somebody reach out to Pam and get this wisdom that you have?
Oh, so sweet. And you can reach out to me in any social media channel except TikTok. I have not got my dance down yet. All right. Once I get that dance down, trust me, I will have my TikTok channels right up. But any social media channel or reach out to me, hello@pamdidner.com. Love to hear from you.
Thank you so much. This has been a real treat. And Pam, I really appreciate what you're doing for this industry. And I know we're going to see more of you in the very near future. And remember, at some point, you and I are going to connect the dots too.
Love that. Let's have a drink over that.
All right, let's do it. Thank you so much.
Take care.